Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning and happy Thursday. It is a Wish It Were Cocktail Friday Thursday. We're going to get through it together. Before you know it, it'll be the weekend. I have had a breakthrough when it comes to the technical issues. I heard back from the tech support department. They take about every 2 days to get back to me, which I'm very unhappy with. But they did help me figure out why I had that horrible echo in my headphones. And guess what, people? Got my headphones on. I know you don't care, but it's very exciting for me. It's not really a big deal when I'm here by myself, but eventually I'd like to take phone calls and maybe play some sound bites and all that. I've got all kinds of things in the works, and I would need to have my headphones on for that. So this is some great progress. I'm hoping that maybe they speed up their replies a little bit. Most people don't podcast daily, so maybe they're thinking that they can take a week to get back to me. I guess I will have to inform them that I am a daily show and they need to speed it up a little bit. I really wish they had a phone service, but they don't, so I'm doing what I can. Some very exciting news coming out of the conference in California with the it's not just Apple, but, you know, with the technology conference and the phone updates and all of that. Apple says with their next update, they will be able to block any robocalls. Here's how it's going to work. If the number that comes through to your phone is not in your contacts, your mail, or your messages, it will be sent directly to voicemail without ringing your phone. Bravo! That's brilliant. I love that idea, especially because it's still sending to voicemail. So if it is somebody that you really need to speak to, they can leave you a message and you can listen to it and call them back if you deem it necessary. The only thing that concerns me with this a little bit is when Joe and I first bought this house, I don't pay my mortgage payment monthly like most people do. I pay it every 2 weeks because that way at the end of the year I get an extra full payment in, and it's kind of a little way for me to try and pay off the house sooner than it should be paid off. Well, you know, is planned to be paid off. So when I first started sending in the mortgage payments, I would send in half payments every 2 weeks. And what they did is they took the first payment, put that towards my payment, then they took the second payment and put that towards principal. I'm not sure why they would just automatically do it that way. And then I got a late notice. Well, that's not true. Somebody from an 800 number kept calling me, but wouldn't leave a message. And after the third or fourth time they called, I finally answered because I thought, well, somebody obviously from this number is keep trying to get a hold of me. So I answered. Turns out it was the mortgage company saying I was late on my payment. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. So I got that all straightened out. But the thing that concerned me was that they never left a message. And I never asked why they didn't leave a message. Some people have said that when it comes to banking information and stuff like that, maybe they're not allowed. I'm not sure. I had been in some credit card trouble in the past, and they didn't have a problem telling me off when I owed them money. I'll never forget, I had Victoria's Secret credit card. I owed $800, which in the scheme of things is really nothing. And I had this guy, and I know that this was illegal. I didn't do anything about it at the time, but he used to be like, he would call and leave messages on my machine asking if my fingers were broken and that maybe I could ask somebody to help call him back because they needed their money. I was very young. But yeah, I mean, those are really out of line messages, and they were illegal. You're not allowed to do that. But moving on, I wanted to just say that it concerns me that the mortgage company just would not leave me a message. So that's one of the things that worries me about blocking all these calls, because I didn't have the mortgage company's phone number in my phone. I don't even know if I had it in my mail. or in any messages. Most of this stuff is done by snail mail. But I'm willing to take the chance because the robocalls are insane. Sometimes I get 4 or 5 a day, and they're all from a local number now. So like the same exchange that my phone number is, like my phone number starts with 709. Most of these calls start with 709. So, and they, usually leave a 1-second voicemail, which lets me know that they're not saying anything. It's just annoying, I barely even look at my phone. I actually got 2 phone calls yesterday. Well, one was my sister, and I texted her to call me, so I was expecting that one. The other one was a friend of mine, and, who calls anymore? It's crazy. I was on the phone twice yesterday. It's insane. And then I even talked to my cousin later that night. I was on the phone 3 times yesterday. I'm telling you, I am totally retro talking on the phone. Wow, I am old school. So we'll keep you posted about the update. It's supposed to be iOS 13. Lucky number 13, right? I've got an issue with 13, but I'm a little superstitious. So moving on to the new trend is to have French fries with your champagne. Interesting, huh? Now, they started out this article about talking about, have you ever had caviar and potato chips? Why, no, I have not ever had caviar and potato chips. I have had caviar. I don't think I've had it since I was a kid. I remember my dad giving it to us when we were kids. I don't think any kid is going to like caviar. But, so I don't remember being a fan of it. Maybe it would be different if I tried it now, but it's so super expensive. Why turn myself onto something that I just can't afford anyway, or don't want to spend that kind of money on? But I don't know. I feel like the true connoisseurs of caviar would be horrified to learn that people are putting it on potato chips. So now they're saying that French fries go awesome with champagne. They say that just to use regular French fries, don't try it with cheese fries. That's mixing too much in. Have some nice, crisp, done French fries. Eat one, and then follow up with a sip of champagne. They say that the combination is delectable. All right, I'll give it a go. I have some champagne in my fridge right now, but I opened the bottle, and it looks like it's got like a pretty, because I buy cheap champagne. I prefer cheap champagne. For years, I drank Asti, Martini and Rossi, which is, not cheap, but that's the brand and the type that I like. I like it sweet. A lot of champagne is very dry. I like the sweet. And last summer, somebody turned me on to this Verdi. Super cheap. Tastes exactly like Martini and Rossi, and it's like $5 a bottle. Okay, I'm on board. I love it. I usually only do champagne with mimosas. Maybe I might have one glass by itself here and there, but if I drink more than one glass of champagne, I start to get a little red in the face and get a little heated up. So that's why I don't drink wine either. Wine affects me that way. If I have more than one glass of wine, I start to get all really hot. My face gets red. It just makes me uncomfortable. So beer it is. Beer it is for me. So maybe I will give this champagne thing a go. I think I'm going to have to throw out the champagne I have in my fridge. It's a shame, too, because it's a Magnum, and I had maybe 2 or 3 glasses out of it. So, and the champagne glasses, they are tiny. So there is a lot left. And, luckily it's cheap. It was more than $5 because it was bigger, but luckily it wasn't a lot of money. So what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the topic, momcations. See, now this is kind of cool because you guys are teaching me things as well. When we were growing up, we didn't go on a lot of vacations. We went to West Virginia a lot, which is where my father was from, and that we did once a year. So I'm guessing that was considered our vacation because we didn't really go on vacations. We had gone on a vacation when I was very young, when I was about 6 years old, to out west. We went to, and again, it was a trip to visit all of my father's relatives because they all joined the service and were, spread out all over the country. I know we went to South Dakota to visit my Uncle Jim, and then we went out to Colorado to visit my Uncle Barry. And, we made other stops along the way. It was a pretty good trip. I do remember parts of it being that I was so young and I don't remember anything. But I do remember we stopped in Bedrock. I think that was in South Dakota. And, of course, I'm referring to the Flintstones. And they had the cars and the little houses. And I remember that because I was and still am a huge Flintstones fan. So I don't know. When I first started hearing about, people going away without their kids, I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, oh, well, that's weird. I guess just because my mom never really did that. And I just think because she just didn't go away. So there is a story out now that says psychologists recommend mothers should take breaks, also known as momcations. It's a recent trend made popular by social media. It's a brief vacation where moms travel together or solo without their family. And the momcation can be a fun trip for mothers. And psychologists now suggest that moms traveling on their own can improve their family relationships in the long run. Huh. Interesting. Like I said, I kind of thought it was a weird thing. I was kind of judging people for it a little bit. I admit it. I was being a little judgmental. So I posted the question, do you ever go away without the kids? Do you think it's healthy? Michelle says, yes, I love my kids, but it's important to get adult time. Jim says, I've never been on a vacation without my daughter since she was born. I've been away for a weekend and gone on business, but never a vacation. Looks like I'm due. Karen says, of course, it's the best way to make great lifelong memories. Lisa says, I don't have kids, but I take vacations from my husband all the time. LOL. Denise says, absolutely. As long as you have family willing and able to babysit, just go. And Linda said, yes, it's healthy. So y'all are teaching me some stuff here, too, because, I don't know, I was, like I said, being a little judgmental. I was like, can't make time for your kids? Got to get away from your kids? What kind of mom are you? Yeah, shame on me. Shame on me. I apologize for thinking that. Again, I guess it's just the way you're brought up. We unfortunately didn't go away a lot. And I don't recall my mom ever going away for a weekend without us. I could be wrong. If I am mistaken, I am sure my sister will text me and remind me. She remembers a whole lot about our childhood than I do. And she is my touchstone when it comes to childhood memories. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I have a terrible memory. So I'm going to move on to today's blog post. We're talking about bad behaviors this week and the need to be right. Dr. Phil says, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I started out trying to do the Dr. Phil accent, but then I realized very quickly it was not going to pull it off, so I just bailed out of it. So, yeah, apparently I do have a lot of bad behaviors. That's why I'm such an authority on talking about how to not do them anymore. I'm not saying that I'm not doing them anymore, because I am still doing them. Not as bad. But the need to be right is a big one for me. It has caused so much stress in my life, arguing with people over things that just don't matter. I'm still working on it, but I'm getting better. I just got into it with a woman at book club not that long ago. She was insisting that Neil Patrick Harris hosted the Oscars. And I'm like, oh no, he hosts the Tonys. He's not hosted the Oscars. She's like, I'm pretty sure he has. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure he hasn't. Whips out her phone, Googles it, shoves it in my face. Neil Patrick Harris hosts the Oscars. God, I hate when that happens. It is the absolute worst when someone proves that you were wrong right to your face. A little humbling. I don't like that girl, though. She gets on my nerves. I didn't really like her before she did that, but now that's a done deal. We'll never be friends. So the more than needing to be right, though, one of my issues is I want to make sure the correct information is being given out, especially with all the talk of fake news, which drives me absolutely insane. I hate that term. You have to keep in mind when people talk about this fake news stuff, there is still real